The Mustang's got problems. Before I get started, we're gonna get the car kind of elevated. I'm gonna go pull the ramps because majority of the work that we need to do requires to be underneath the car. So I'm going to get the car lifted up real quick, and then we can kind of go over the list of things to do because it's a few of them, and and they're all annoyances. None of them is catastrophic, thankfully, but they all need to be addressed. Let's see if I can get this first issue, this first little gremlin monster to present itself. So we want that in neutral because we're up in the air. Ah. Problem number one, there is either it's the belt or it's a pulley that is squeaking and screeching for its life. And it only gets worse as you rev the engine up. However, it goes away after a while of driving, which is a little weird to me. So I don't know if it's really cold and that brand of belt is just not happy during the cold, or is that slipping? Because there's also another issue I want to point out. Something else I want to try and see if I can get on camera. Yeah, it's not gonna work. The exhaust leak is still not fixed. Yeah, we've proven that all the connections are not leaking. That's something I can say is for sure. However, when the car is under load, like driving down the road at 2,000 to 2,100 RPM, it still sounds like sheet metal or something flapping, and I'm afraid that it's the exhaust flange or header flanges that are bolted to the head of the engine. That's where the leak is at, which means I need to pull the headers off, which is a pain in the ass to do. So you heard the belt. Now, I think I will admit I am not using some high-tech premium. I'm not using some high-tech premium quality belt. I'm using what your everyday man is going to have on their vehicle from AutoZone, which actually, yeah. So in fact, there you go. There's the Duralast packet, because I wanted to make sure I can go buy another belt when that one broke. That was for one of the belts. This is for the longer belt. It's a 38-inch belt. Now, probably, because when I started this, I had this one. This is what came from Power by the Hour. I probably should go ahead and just buy one of these. Get one of these ordered for each one of the belts to replace those belts, and that way I have a nice, decent belt, and it might not squeak like it is right there. But there's also another problem we need to fix that could be the squeak problem could be because of the problem we're about to cover now. All right, so we're underneath the car, and I've got a flashlight on the bottom of the power steering pump, and that is wet fluid. Yeah, that's wet fluid.
Now, if I look at the belts don't look. I mean, from where I'm looking at, I mean they feel nice and flexible. They don't feel crusty. They don't feel bad. So yeah. Oh, look at that. How about that? Do you think? Actually, do you think we should probably have some spacing? Oh, okay. I think I found our problem. Look at that. That's touching. That is actually touching. So, okay. That's probably going to be an easy because we have a bunch of options for how we can bolt up the power steering pump to probably get a little bit of a... That needs an air gap. Oh my god. All right. All right. Found the squeak noise. However, the power steering pump still needs to be pulled off to be... Power steering pump needs to be still pulled off so that we could, you know, put some fresh O-rings in here. Because probably partly the reason why this power steering pump is leaking like it is for when I took the car road racing. That power steering pump, there's nothing special about it. However, I am making it turn often 7,000 RPM because the high RPM motor naturally of the Coyote. But when we go racing, there are some instances where I'll stretch out a gear and we wound it out to 8,000 RPM more than a handful of times. We may need to get, give our, the guys at turn 1, I think it is, turn 1 steering, a call because they have power steering pumps that are made to go road racing and made to handle what we put the car through. I've already priced one out. It's about $475. That's going to include like the dash 6 and dash 10 lines that go into the power steering pump. Even if it doesn't, I could just probably take it off of this one. But let's hope we don't get there. Let's see if we can solve our problem with this little kit right there. And stop that fluid leak, as well as move the damn pulley over so it's got some breathing room and it's not rubbing. All right, for some better access, I'm going to pull this intake tube off. Because if this is out the way, it's going to make it a whole lot easier to access such tensioners and unbolt that power steering pump. Off down at the other end of the tube, and I'm gonna leave the mass airflow sensor plugged up. There we go. Hang out right there. Get to this this tensioner. Pull, and then with the other hand, slide that belt off the front of the power steering pump. So now I get the belt kind of off. Alright, real quick, I'm going to describe. So we're going to go around the power steering pump, up. So up to the bottom of this pulley, the stationary pulley. It's not a tensioner, but it's a stationary pulley. Goes to the bottom, wraps around the top of the water pump, wraps back from the water pump and down and around the tensioner, and then around the tensioner and over the crank, and from the crank to the power steering pump pulley. And that is how it's routed. Probably going to reference this video again so that I can get this, because I've always been like, what the heck? Anyways, so let's take this belt off and let's inspect it for like rubbing damage. All right, so bringing the belt over here. Oh, I'm trying to not bump my mount. So bringing the belt over here, man, because I'm not seeing any signs of like a wear damage. I wonder if it was like just lucky enough that it's because if you saw it in one spot, you'd probably see it everywhere. Now if I flip this thing around, same deal, you know, like there's no signs of wear. So I guess I had it, like, even perfect example, like you still see the label. So that has just oh so scuffed off. So I would say the belt is still good to be used. Okay, so we need to loosen our bolts, because we have a through bolt, and the way you do this is you actually you go through the pulley. Because we got this sucker on tight. Okay, here's what I'll do. I'm gonna throw a wrench. I'm gonna bind it up against the engine. And then we'll get into a better position to unleash almighty almighty 1/4 inch drive. Oh no! I dropped it. Whew, shucks. Golly be whirlikers. That was tough. Okay. There's one down. Come on. Dink. You hear that? That means that thing was tight. Okay. There we go. So if you look at the back, it is dirty as can be, but it's got signs of it being wet back here. All right, I've got paper towels ready, and I've got my plug ready to plug this line. That is leaking. And we'll throw plug here. See, like so, to try and contain all that fluid. It doesn't have much fluid in it. It definitely isn't leaking like the other leaked. Oh, gee. Well, okay. Oh, jeez. Good job. Okay, hey, that's what makes the cabinets all shiny. So you can see that there's a nice polished lip where we've been rubbing on that belt. So we're going to take care of all these problems. These problems aren't catastrophic. They're just a bucket of things. So the squeak, we discover what the squeak is, and when we reassemble and put this guy back onto the car, we'll make sure there's adequate spacing so that that squeak doesn't come back. The next thing is we gotta rebuild this, put new O-rings on it. Hopefully that's going to solve the problem with power steering fluid leaking out the back of the exhaust. I'm not excited to do exhaust. However, think I got to pull off the headers. Unfortunately, I'll have to pull up the headers. We'll inspect the header flange. We'll make sure we have the, make sure our headers are actually sealing. If they're not, worst case, I got to buy new headers. Kind of reassemble that whole shenanigans and make sure it's sealed up. But yeah, so stay tuned. We have a lot of work ahead of us to try and take care of the little things to make this car. And after all this is taken care of, whew, this car is like perfect, sort of. Maybe we can start solving other small little problems. So